Moses Kuria, the cabinet secretary for trade, is being set up. And Moses Kuria is being set up by none other than President William Samoei Arap Ruto. At this stage, I still can't tell why the president is setting up Moses Kuria. But your guess is as good as mine. And moving forward, Moses Kuria might either be forced to resign. If he wants to resign, he will be forced to toe the line. Moses Kuria has been pushing the issue of GMO, which is very unpopular amongst Kenyans. And then recently, Moses Kuria announced that the government was willing or was going to import 10 million bags of maize. Today, the ship carrying the 10 million bags is right in Mombasa. The Gazette notice is yet to be released. Which means by the time Moses Kuria was talking about the importation, someone was already working on it. And personally, I'm looking at all these scenarios and I'm concluding that someone is out to set up Moses Kuria against the church, against the Kalenjin nation, against Azimio, against the hustlers themselves. And someone is also setting up Moses Kuria for propaganda. Earlier today, members of parliament from the Kalenjin nation, majorly, issued a press statement. Listening to Cherargei reading the statement, then I want to ask a few questions.
Importation of 10 million bags of duty-free maize into the country, given that there is no official gazette notice that has been formally and legally issued. We are aware that there are plans by the Ministry of Trade to import 10 million bags of duty-free maize into the country, while at least this is the season of maize harvest in major parts of the country. It has never happened before that the maize is imported into the country during harvest season, yet we understand that the local maize production is always our first remedy. As members of parliament from maize-producing region, we seek to know the reason as to why ships are already docking in Mombasa port without the laid down legal procedures in place. An adjournment motion in this afternoon has been sponsored by Honorable Kirwa MP Masab, Honorable Kosing, and Honorable Kaikai Bissau in National Assembly, and a statement by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei in the Senate. We are aware there was no cabinet approval in the importation of duty-free maize into the country. This will undermine the intention of guarantee minimum returns to farmers GMR, which was championed by CS Moses Kuria. The projection of the bumper harvest of maize this season is projected to be 42 million bags, despite the high cost of farm inputs. For example, during planting season, we were buying one bag of fertilizer at 7,000 shillings per bag. High cost of fuel, plowing. In fact, we request that the cost of fertilizer of Kenya shilling 7,000 should match the price of Kenya shilling 7,000 per bag of maize. It seems there is a deliberate move to continue killing the maize farming in this country, as was seen in the previous regime, where even the sugar sector and other farming sectors were killed.
Now, from those statements, clearly, there is going to be a fallout between the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins. Before you knew, the Kikuyus will issue also a contradictory statement in defense of Moses Kuria. Immediately William Ruto took over office, the first thing he did was to do away with the law which was banning the importation of GMO. In one of my videos on this channel, I questioned the motive of the visit by billionaire Bill Gates. And clearly, someone is out. But let us focus on the issue of Moses Kuria. And I want to ask 6 questions to Moses Kuria, and then you will agree with me that Moses Kuria is actually being set up. The first question which I want to ask, where is the Minister for Agriculture in all this? There is no way you can import maize without involving the Minister for Agriculture. I want to challenge you to go back to all the maize importation scandals in this country. The people who have always been involved are the Ministry of Agriculture, not the Ministry of Trade. And that's where the issue is. Where is Mithika Linturi? Why is he being shielded? Someone is out to shield Linturi, but out to expose Moses Kuria. Because as far as I'm concerned, the only entry where Moses Kuria is entering into this is probably on the issues of standards. Because when you want to import something like maize, then they must be subjected to quality test. But everything is supposed to be conducted via the Ministry of Agriculture. And I saw Moses Kuria the other day explaining that the government itself is not importing the maize, and that it's the millers who are importing. If it's the millers who are importing, why is Moses Kuria getting involved as Minister for Trade? That should be between the Ministry of Finance and probably the Ministry of Agriculture. I tend to think that someone somewhere is setting up Moses Kuria, and currently Moses Kuria is likely to be under a lot of pressure from the church, from the Kalenjins, from everybody who is opposed to the importation of the maize. So that's the first question. Where's the Minister for Agriculture? The second question which I want to ask is the timing. If you want to understand that Moses Kuria is being set up, just figure out the timing. The original explanation which was being given was that there was food shortage in the country and that some Kenyans were dying somewhere because of hunger, and therefore immediate interventions were required. It is now emerging that the ship carrying all this is already at the port of Mombasa, even before the Gazette. Then, importantly, it is actually harvesting period in Rift Valley and parts of Western Kenya, because those are the the regions where maize is produced. You can't import maize when farmers are harvesting. It can't happen unless someone wants to tell us that we didn't produce enough. Where will farmers take their produce if you allow the importation at this particular time? So the timing also tells you that someone somewhere is setting up Moses Kuria, because Moses Kuria was one of the people who emerged as the biggest defenders of guaranteed minimum returns. He was the biggest defender. It can't be that the guaranteed minimum returns he only supports it when it favors the mountain, when it will now be tea, when it will be coffee. But now it's maize, it's not. And the members of parliament who addressed the press today actually reminded him about that. So his timing, someone is setting up Moses Kuria. And I know Moses Kuria is also not just ordinary person. He's a bright chap. He's likely to respond. The third question which needs to be asked, is the maize being imported GMO or organic? Because initially Moses Kuria indicated that they were planning to import 10 million bags of GMO maize. He twisted. And the fact that before he twisted, these maize were already somewhere at the port. The question is, are they GMO? And if they are GMO, how is that politics going to affect Moses Kuria? Let us wait and see. In case it's going to be GMO, then Moses Kuria is going to find it rough in the country. the wrath of Kenyans are going to fall on him. All the propaganda are going to be targeted on him. William Ruto is not going to be affected. So Moses Kuria is being set up. The fourth question which I'm asking is whether there are underhand dealings in all this. Because you can clearly tell that some underhanded dealings, opaqueness, there's some opaqueness. Because if Moses Kuria the other day announced that he was going to issue gazette notice, the maize is already at the port of Mombasa. So which means someone somewhere has already, through the back door, engineered the importation of this maize. Then the biggest question is corruption. Is there any chance that there will be corruption allegation at the end of the day? Maize in this country has always gone down with so many people. The main reason why Waluke is in jail and Grace Wahungu was because of the importation of maize. So maize is a scandal, a major one. So are we going to experience some corruption allegation at the end of the day? If yes, who is going to carry that burden? Because from all indications, it seems Moses Kuria is ready to carry the entire burden. And will he manage to carry that burden? So let us wait and see. Because someone was telling me that William Ruto is the biggest farmer of maize in DRC. He was in DRC the other day. And then today the maize in Mombasa. So the question is, are those maize from Congo, then someone sneaked them through the port of Mombasa? Let us wait and see. Fifth question. Where is William Ruto in all this? Why is the president silent in all this issue of GMO, on the issue of maize importation, the issue of farmers in Rift Valley? Are farmers going to uproot their maize and plant avocado the way William Ruto advised them before? And what is his take? Why is he not coming out to tell Kenyans that the GMO we are talking about, the maize we are talking about is not GMO? You know, all those. And lastly, the last question, is the importation of maize in line with their campaign pledge or the promises they made to Kenyans? Because we were all alive in this country when Kenya Kwanza were campaigning. They said they were not going to borrow money. William Ruto yesterday signed 360 billion loan. Someone was joking that by the end of 1 year, they should have surpassed Uhuru Kenyatta's borrowing. Was importation part of their campaign, or they told Kenyans that they will not be importing maize? So let us wait and see how all these things are going to unfold. Very interesting developments. Until next time, guys, this is Lee Makwiny. I think look imeweza hii nguo imeweza sana. Yes. Bye bye.